yes, because we've had teams like Shopify Rebellion make plays in pool play, they have guaranteed themselves top 6, looking at a potential top 3 through winners side because they created those upsets, gave themselves a bracket that was very favorable, and now they find themselves, although down 2-1, at least an opportunity and a puncher's chance.
They certainly did indeed. I also think there's situations that kind of happened that you weren't expecting, which really did start to tip the balance of our brackets. And even on one side, the winners bracket was heavily favored down, you know, at the bottom. That was crazy. The Titans in the bottom of the winners bracket was nuts. And I think because of that LVT win against Space Station Gaming, pushing them to a totally different side, changes everything about that winners bracket. And we are seeing open doors for teams like Shopify Rebellion to really go. And actually, Tony, the momentum for Shopify, being able to do that through the winners bracket, actually when they do start to meet some of the bigger dogs, inevitably so, I do think they're going to be ready because they've had series behind them and under their belts, and we're actually going to jump back into the Shopify Rebellion versus Native Red. They may be down in the series, but again, they have managed to sneak away a map from Native Red. But if Native Red can turn this on its head and be that team we've known and loved for quite a few seasons now, then this also could spell trouble too.
2-1 series leader for Native Red, looking to make it to another winners bracket finals, and clearly Taulek is ready with this sniper. Not done just yet, barely missing out that shot on Mental, but it's still Native Red that have that advantage, and they're also the ones with first progression on this first hill.
And this is a perfect setup from Native Red. You want LR glass and posters control. You want the snipe to be able to anchor that glass position. That top mid now, such a fortress to try and take over when you're spawning towards Hotel and towards Snipe. Native Red playing this perfectly, and rightfully so. These kids have so much Halo 5 experience that it's no surprise that they know how Plaza used to work back in the day. Solitude, the remake, they are going to be very difficult to take down on this map.
Taulek is putting on a clinic on how to anchor this glass side of the map with that sniper. Doing a great job of staying alive, watching every single flank, securing those kills, but his teammates twin deploying 3 down. And RyaNoob showing you that he still got it.
He says, hold my beer, Tony. RyaNoob with the thrust back, beautiful shots. They retake the setup, and although Native Red had a perfect opportunity to go up 1-0 here in game 4, RyaNoob with some great shots will spin that story around. I love this play by Cykul. Playing it slow, crouching behind the wall, finds himself a nice, easy kill onto an overextender and suppressed. And with that, they will have a numbers advantage.
I think you might have misheard Ryan. He is a nerd. I think he said, hold my book, as he went for those shots. But RyaNoob does end up going down once again, leaving Rayne over toward the blue side. He's going to try to do his best to stay alive and ultimately zone Native Red out of this hill. The long-range shot looking good, lines it up, but Cykul going to steal that one. With Native Red, they're so close to taking this hill #1, but Shopify, they're starting to get into rhythm.
Still a chance for Shopify to compete for this first hill, but the kill's going to go in the favor of Native Red for now, and Glass, Whoop, and LR control still in the favor of Native Red. You can tell the setup is clear how they want to play this, and with about 60% of this hill in their favor, a player in that hill, they're going to be able to make this a very difficult chance for Shopify to compete with.
This is a great push coming out of Shopify. You have 2 members pushing through blue, 2 members pushing over toward the snipe side. Native Red don't see it coming. They immediately go 2 down. Excuse me. Make it 3. Excuse me. Make it a squad wipe. Shopify Rebellion clear Native Red off of the strong side for this hill #1, and they may just steal it.
Enemy about to score.
Still time to compete coming off respawn. 2 kills going Native Red's favor right now. They are forced to get out on the side of Shopify, and one player from Native Red actually makes his way from Flowers into the hill. That's going to be SoulSnipe. SoulSnipe's taken down. Cykul redoubles back to bottom loop right now. Needs to play his life. Unfortunately, not sure if he's going to have that opportunity. He's surrounded by grenades. Is still alive somehow. Cykul, still no shield. Every time his shields come back, they get taken out. And he finally gets taken down, and with that kill, that's going to be it. Native Red will take the first hill 1-0.
Cykul was a thorn in the side of Native Red, but still wasn't able to buy enough time for the rest of his teammates to come off a spawn. So not only does Native Red take that hill #1, but on top of that, they have the spawns. They have control of back ramp. They also have the first kill. Make it 2 with Suppress pulling off a double. Shopify Rebellion, they didn't get the first hill. They didn't get control of the next hill. And on top of that, they're getting slayed out once again off a spawn.
The newcomer to this team making plays in a big series for this team, needing to try and figure out a way to not go to game 5 here, wanting to end their night at a 3-1 on their way to a top 3 at the very least. Finish. Suppress finds himself a double, which is awarded Native Red at least over half of this second hill. If they are to score this point, it's going to be very difficult for Shopify to get back into this. As I say that though, Shopify find a way to get 3 down. Taulek, last one alive, trying to play his life top class, does get taken down. He gets removed from the map, and as respawners come up from Native Red, they will have to fight this fight man down. They've done so successfully. 4 down for Shopify somehow. Native Reds show why they are so strong on Solitude.
A great flank by Cykul winds up leading to a 3 down for Native Red, but Native Red answered back. Like you said, squad wiping Shopify Rebellion right back to that respawn screen, and that's enough for them to ultimately steal that second point, and it's a 2-0 lead here for Native Red. 2.5 minutes on the clock. If they take this hill, I promise you, they'll be playing for time the rest of the game.
I promise you this game's over if they take this 3rd point. Rayne's going to stop the clock here as they are able to hop into the hill. The first time it really feels like Shopify is able to play from an advantage in this point. Rayne, game seems slow from his point of view. It's Native Red taking their time coming off respawn. How are they going to break this setup with Shopify? You know RyaNoob has cooked up.
Native Red, it looks like they want this LR control. They want a clear path over towards this bottom dip hill, and that's where Suppress finds himself. He opens up with a double kill, takes the LR control, makes the kills look easy as they clear out Shopify Rebellion. Now with 2 minutes and 10 seconds, I feel like Native Red, they can play for time, or they can play for the point.
Yeah, I think every second that comes off the clock is just fine by Shopify, or by Native Red, I'm sorry. As long as Shopify are not in that hill, your win conditions continue to improve. So right now, Native Red are focused on Slime. They have 2 down right now. They are able to hop into the hill. I don't expect them to play time just yet. A 3rd point, like we said, would guarantee that this game is all but over.
Now there's less than 2 minutes on the clock. Shopify Rebellion end up finding themselves 2 down. Luckily, Cykul is able to get the pick over towards the hotel side, but now he's gotten that kill. He's on Manny's radar, chased down quickly as Native Red looking to win the Slaves battle. Shopify Rebellion, they found a direct route into the hill, but Suppress clears them out.
Even kills across the board for Native Red. Just Taulek has found his 12th of the game, but Manny picks up the S7. Let's see if he can put it to use.
Snipe in the hands of your X Factor. Body shot not going to be enough to stop Mental from chasing you down. The Shopify Rebellion have done a great job over towards this bottom dip hill. Native Red end up going 3 down. That's going to be an easy capture, I would imagine, here for Shopify Rebellion. Cykul baiting it out. Manny, though, the final player for Native Red, and he's being a tough kill.
Manny finds a kill to take down RyaNoob. That's going to allow the Native Red respawners a potential opportunity to compete for this hill still, as they are able to find a couple of kills. They're traded back and forth. 1 minute and 14 on the clock, and Shopify's got to figure out a way to get this hill moved over towards the top snipe hill immediately if they want any chance of an opportunity to tie this game up.
And just to remind you guys at home, we went to that second hill. We had over 2.5 minutes on the clock. At this point, Native Red, they just have to zone out Shopify Rebellion for just a minute. Slay them out, keep them out of the hill, and they're advancing forward into the winner's bracket final. That guarantees you top 3 in this tournament.
Top 3. And whatever else you can perform on Championship Sunday. But right now, you got to figure out a way to guarantee your spot in that winner's bracket finals. Rayne in the hill, freezing the clock. It's down under a minute, 50 seconds are left. That clock will not move. As we will be right back. I believe that's probably a technical difficulty, and what a worse time to have one.
Yeah.
Than at that moment in that game.
Than that moment. We will be back, folks, with what's going to happen at the end of that game and how that one is going to get worked out, because it was looking pretty good for Native Red there, I've got to say, in a certain moment in time. But then Shopify on the comeback as well. So I don't know. What are you making of that? I think it's really going back and forth, and I don't know. I believe in Native Red, I think. For me personally, I think Taulek is stepping up. I don't think he had a great pool play, and I think him stepping up in bracket play and in this series is going to be huge for them. You need every single one of your players firing on all cylinders. Yeah,
I don't think anyone on Native Red had a great pool play, but it was such a game changer when they got into bracket play and they saw the bracket, they saw opportunity. They were 3rd in their pool, if you remember, advancing. And luckily, in this tournament, 3rd in your pool, stayed in winner's bracket. Native Red have taken advantage of that being the case here in Fort Worth, and they find themselves battling it out in the winners bracket semifinals right now. And remember, the last time they made it to the winners bracket semifinals, they were able actually to punch their ticket at last Worlds to a top 3 finish. And you know how much that haunted them. You know how much they want to get back to an opportunity to potentially be in a grand finals for the first time in their young careers. Suppress, this is the furthest he's ever been in winners bracket. And wouldn't this be a special moment for him? With a new team, the event before Worlds, this team to get top 3, I mean, we have to have serious conversations about how competitive is Native Red for an actual championship.
Yeah, I think we do have to have those conversations. Looking at the winners bracket side of things, looking pretty good for them right now. And Matt Count will figure out what happens at the end of that game 4 and whether or not it will go to a game 5. Do Shopify Rebellion have the ice to clutch up and take it all the way there and try and edge it out on the Slayer? I mean, Tony, Native Red, they've been very up and down this weekend so far. Haven't quite been, I think, the team that we had known, I think, like at the later half of the season last time. But they did start to awaken, like Wes said, at the right time. Do you feel like you've seen enough from them right now to go all the way like they did at Worlds, take that top 3 finish? Or do you think they can do even better than that? Do you think they have what it takes with this new addition, not having Druck on board anymore?
Well, I talked about it early Friday when you asked about Native Red before, and I still feel the same way. I think Native Red have consistently gotten top 4 up until obviously they had to bring in a sub and Bone, which, by the way, they still got 4th place the first time they brought him in, and I think Suppress just complements this team so well. Obviously, I did not predict that this exact scenario would have came out. They would have ended up in the upper bracket and had a favorable road up until this point. But I will say, I know that Native Red are the real deal. I know they have the opportunity to make top 4, top 3, and honestly, even a grand finals.
I mean, take us back to SLC, where guess who's waiting in the winners bracket finals? That's Optic Gaming.
Yeah.
It was a 15-kill lead in game 5 that Native Red choked away, and you know they would be stoked to play against Optic in that winners bracket finals, because you know that series, that game has been on their mind ever since.
It certainly has been on their mind. I think playing devil's advocate to it, for me, you can't do that, Native Red. 15-kill lead against Optic Gaming. You've got to be joking.
That's
like,
tough.
come on. I mean, for me, that just shows me the control was totally demoralizing. You know, the fact that Optic Gaming were able to snowball that heavily against you and take complete control of the map, have you probably on ridiculous split spawns and just, I mean, all over you like a hot rash. That's not good enough for me. I don't like that. I think I need to see a little bit more from Native Red. I would understand maybe a couple of trades here and there, but it really was a lights out show for Optic Gaming in that final game 5. And that to me spells trouble. And it makes me worry about that roster.
I think it was a learning experience for sure. And those kids are so young in their careers. They've only really been competing in professional Halo for a little over a year now. This is their 2nd year. For them to experience things like that, that will make them stronger. They will learn from that. We'll see if they can change that. If they can finish off Shopify Rebellion, they're going to have an opportunity to redeem themselves. And I wouldn't just write them off because of a mistake they made in the past. People can evolve, people can adapt, and they can become champions.
We're going to head right into the game. Native Red versus Shopify Rebellion. Native Red need 3, I believe, in order to take this map and take the series.
The good thing for Shopify Rebellion, they got a lot of time to do it.
Yeah.
Like obviously, the timer gets reset. They have opportunity to get those 4 hills. One thing is, though, Native Red still have that advantage. They still only need that 3. And as of right now, Taulek is sitting up over towards S4. Kind of similar to his last position before. He finds a spot, he hunkers down, and he just becomes a very tough anchor for his team.
Yeah, this time around, Shopify able to get out to an early lead on that first, though, trying to tie this game up. Remember that Native Red will always be 1 point up on Shopify if the score is tied. So that being said, like you said, Tony, the clock being reinstated in 5 minutes, that's everything for Shopify. They will take that, and they will be very happy to replay this game right now. With an early lead here on this first hill, it is SoulSnipe that's going to try and control this LR position for his team.
And I feel like this is where your mental toughness is really tested if you're Native Red. Like, obviously, it's an unfortunate reset that happens, but now you have to go out, no excuses, and do it again. You were able to hold out Shopify Rebellion for so long, hold on to that lead, and you were so close. Just go out and what you did what you did before, and maybe you come out on top. But I promise you, give Shopify Rebellion momentum, and they'll simply run over you.
back and forth, these two teams competing for this top mid hill. It's a very difficult one to try and really hold down for a significant amount of time, but it's about all tied up right now as Native Red have done a great job to respond to the early time that Shopify have awarded themselves. Right now, Mental top yard is going to be able to consider himself in a power position as he's able to deny hill time. They're able to back a couple players up top Snipe, but there is one player behind them, Glass, and they didn't know that until they started getting shot in the back there. That's a very difficult position to find yourselves in as Shopify go 3 down. That flank is perfect from the side of Native Red.
Even with the portal, there was nowhere for Mental to go right there, and a big round of slays end up in the hands of Native Red, and this top hill is so close. Kind of what we were at once before in that version 1 of this game. Native Red having to fight for dear life to try to get any type of control, and they've just have gone 3 down. Shopify Rebellion, they're going to set up. They're going to get some valuable time here. Manny, the final player alive, chases down that player all the way towards bottom mid. Shopify, they still find no points.
Manny not able to pick up that kill, and that was big. Shopify able to find that kill onto Manny, create some space for them. Not only that, but continue to get some of this hill time. It is neutralized in the moment, but now just 20% to go for Shopify as they're able to pick up a couple of kills. This LR position so important to significantly gain some of this time, but it does look like the Shopify team has been able to focus on the snipe that was coming up. Unfortunately, this is going to put them in a very difficult position as players in the hill and top yard take down Rayne.
Rayne may have had the sniper over towards the nest side, but it's still Native Red that has the strong side of the map. They're able to deal with him, so that sniper ends up going down, and nobody's able to get SoulSnipe out of this hill. Native Red are 2 down, and still Shopify Rebellion is struggling to get him out, and now Native Red just need a split second within that hill. Shopify Rebellion have to play near perfect Halo in order to keep Native Red out, and here they come.
Suppressed gonna get toes in the hill, gonna score the point, and Native Red will now have a 2-point lead here in this game. 2 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock. That was a 2.5-minute hill that Shopify lost at the end. Native Red able to have a significant lead here now, being up 2.
This matchup so important for Native Red. Both you and Lottie talked about it. That losing out to Optic in that game 5 was unacceptable. SoulSnipe had tweeted out right afterwards. He said that was the toughest loss in his 5-year career.
I've got to say as well, lads, they need to do it here and now, Shopify Rebellion. They need to make sure they get this over the line. I mean, and not only that, Native Red, actually, they probably are not feeling too bad about if they do lose this King of the Hill here, because Solitude Slayer is up next, and that is going to be really, really difficult in terms of this game, I believe. I'm looking at some of the stats here, and Shopify, they're not in 2 in that last final game 5.
We'll see if they can get there, but right now Native Red in the driver's seat to end this series here, 3-1. It would be a significant change of pace and change of result here in game 4 for Shopify to turn this story around. 3 go down for Shopify once again, and Native Red feeling like they're clicking right now. Taulek with 12, Suppressed with 13, leading the lobby heavily is Native Red and Slays.
Native Red, one of the best objective efficient teams in the league. The moment Shopify Rebellion go 3 down, no time wasted whatsoever. They find themselves in that hill, and it is paying dividends. You're over 50% done with this hill. Shopify Rebellion are the ones that have to get offensive. They're the ones that not only have to slay you out, but play catch up, because they're far behind. 1-0 in the game, 2-0 in reality, and Native Red are close to putting what would be this 3rd hill.
And the Slays continuing to go in Native Red's favor. 4 down. The teamwork of Native Red is so pure right now as they're able to get feet back in the hill. And they're looking to push this to a 3-0 lead if they capture this hill. A 3-0 lead with 1 minute and 38 on the clock. Even if they don't neutralize it for 1 second on the side of Shopify, this game is going to be nearly over at that point.
Shopify Rebellion have to stop Native Red right here, right now. If Native Red win this hill with 1.5 minutes on the clock, they are going to play the shot clock. And eventually, Shopify Rebellion go 3 down. There's not a single player available to play that hill. RyaNoob understands that. He's already playing towards the next one. Wins a pivotal battle onto Taulek, but Native Red answer back. Back-to-back 3 down. Native Red have control. Shopify Rebellion, you're in trouble.
Suppressed with 17 to his name right now. 18 as he picks up a kill on the Cykul, puts him on respawn. And SoulSnipe just playing his life with the sniper now, relocates to yard, and every second that goes off this clock is every second closer to a date with destiny against Optic Gaming in the winners bracket final.
Shopify Rebellion are getting dominated in the Slays department, and it is costing them here a little over a minute on the clock. Luckily for them, SoulSnipe goes down, loses that sniper, but it looks like two members of Shopify Rebellion hit the black screen again. They leave Mental by himself. He's in no man's land. That's another round of Slays. That's another 10 seconds to come off a spawn, another 10 for you to make it towards that hill, and that doesn't even guarantee you getting the kills on Native Red.
Quite possibly the best performance we have seen this young, suppressed player have throughout his short professional career. You can guarantee it's going to be a longer one as he continues to make a statement here. 20 kills to his name. However, they do go 4 down. Shopify with one last desperate attempt will get into this hill. They will need 3 points to take this game into overtime. Right now, 33 seconds on the clock. They are knocked out of the hill, knocked back into the respawn screen, and Native Red are closer and closer to ending this series.
You see the pings coming out from Suppress. He's trying to feed that information to the rest of his team. They need to identify where that pressure is coming from. One more round of Slays could be you moving into the winners bracket finals. Could be you getting your revenge potentially on Optic on your way to the grand finals. It looks like there's a player that sneaks in. He ends up going down. 6 more seconds. RyaNoob has to desperate over toward the hill. He's going to be shredded. Just 4 more seconds, and that's going to be it. It looks like Native Red are going to the winners finals.
Well done, boys. A rematch against Optic Gaming is on the cards for Sunday, Championship Sunday, I'm sorry. And what a better way to kick off our Championship Sunday than to have those two go at it after the series they had at SLC, the Game 5 that they remember all too well. They will have another opportunity to take down the Giants in Optic Gaming.
I may not be getting my Chick-fil-A tomorrow, but what I will be getting is Native Red in the winners bracket final. Going up against Optic. Winner of that makes it to the grand finals with that advantage. Man, those boys must be proud.
They certainly will be proud. Looking across the score here in the series, looking great for Native Red. Although Shopify having a really hot start, taking that CTF Empyrean from them, it just went on from there with the Slayer. A really close fought battle there in that game number 2. And what I actually should have said earlier on, we got a few of the stats twisted here, but it's okay because Native Red did not want to go to that game 5, I'll tell you that much. They did not, because Shopify Rebellion on Street Slayer would have been looking pretty primed to take that one. They are 3-1 and Native Red are 2-5 in that game mode. And overall in Slayers actually for Shopify, they're 20-13, so not too bad. And Native Red 16-17, so pretty even there. It was a bit of a coin toss. A coin toss. Wow.
Coin toss.
Wow, I'm tired, guys. I don't know if you can tell this. I think I might be ready for bed, and I'm sure a few of our teams will be too. But like I said, it was great that Native Red managed to cut that one down and make sure they got it done by that map number 4. Great stuff overall. Are you impressed with this? Because Suppressed, for me, has been a standout. What a pickup, and what the right time for him to go off.
Yeah, I know we might have a bunch of like stream parties watching this game, this series, and wondering who is Native Red. I'm not surprised at all. Native Red have done so much work to get here. Towards the end of Halo 5, coming into Halo Infinite, have put in so much time, and it's no surprise that they are very successful on a Halo 5 remake, a Plaza in Solitude. What a game for them to end it on, and it will be a pleasure to see them compete against Optic Gaming tomorrow in our winners bracket finals.
It certainly will be. The winners bracket is looking stacked, of course, in Native Red. They make it out of it on the upper side of the winners bracket to meet Optic Gaming. Let's take a look at the elimination bracket to see who we've still got left in this race. And it will be Shopify Rebellion moving on down to meet FaZe in the quarterfinals. They did play earlier on. They managed to squeak a map away from FaZe, but FaZe did have the better of them in that series. We'll see if Shopify are up to the task and challenge tomorrow. And we're actually going to be watching Quadrant versus Space Station first thing tomorrow for our quarterfinals in this elimination bracket. And that also is going to be a banger. The question is right now for this EU team, this powerhouse of a squad coming out of Europe, is can they do it against SSG? The SSG playing up against Optic Gaming, I was so impressed with Tony. They are really, really scary when they are definitely on the back foot. And that is something I don't want to mess with if I'm Quadrant. How are you feeling about that matchup?